What's going on? This is the Pre-Chiro podcast, and we have another chiropractic student connection for you. This is Wyatt Berg out at Parker University. Thank you so much for sharing with any prospective students tonight. Can you share what you were up to before chiropractic school, what your upbringing was like, how you discovered chiropractic, and what attracted you to become a chiropractor?
Yeah, absolutely. First off, just thank you for having me on here to talk chiropractic. It's always a blessing. So, like you said, my name is Wyatt Berg. Born and raised in Fairbanks, Alaska. So a little bit different than most places. It's right in the heart of Alaska, right in the middle.
Mm.
Um, Chiropractic's kind of been a off and on long going journey for me. I was first adjusted probably around like age 13 or 14. Um, but at that point, it was just kind of like a wellness thing. And then in high school, about junior year, played baseball my entire life. So I was about 17 at the time, just signed to play at a junior college. And I was taking BP, hitting off a tee in a cage, and took a swing and felt a pinch in my back. And being the bulletproof 17-year-old I thought I was like, I blew it off, whatever. I'll just keep, swinging through it, play through it. That eventually came to a head in about through about 3 years after that. I was a freshman in college, and I was playing, and it got to a point where I just couldn't take the pain anymore. So I was like, well, I'm kind of at a dead end here. I either pack it up or I figure it out. And thankfully, in the town I went to, there was a chiropractor there who donated his time and service to athletes at the school. And so he kind of took me under his wing and took care of me and kind of nursed my back to health. And at that point in school, I was 100% PT undergrad. That's what I wanted to do. And then this chiropractor kind of, like I said, took me under his wing and kind of steered my career for me. So.
Mm-hmm. Did you go right into college after high school, or did you take some time in between?
I went straight into college. So did my 4 years, obviously, of high school, got my diploma, and then I went 2 years to a junior college, got my associates, and then I went back home to Alaska, finished my 90 credits. So that's a good thing to note. I got into chiropractic school without my bachelor's degree. So I did the 90 credit route just to kind of save some money, knock out some time, and go straight to school.
Mm-hmm.
So
You did 2 years in community college, and then you went back home to a 4-year university to finish those 90 credits. Is that right?
correct. Yeah. When I went back home, I really kind of targeted the prereqs that I needed to finish for chiropractic school. That was my focus.
And what was it that steered you away from physical therapy and towards chiropractic? It sounds like you were helped in that kind of a way, but what was it that really got you shifted in a different direction?
Yeah, honestly, it was just the love and service I received from the doc. He was outstanding. Shout out Dr. Dinsmore Chiropractic in Ontario, Oregon. He's fantastic. Um, that was a huge moment for me because he sat me down in his office. I had an MRI done. I really didn't know what was going on with my back. I was in like it was excruciating pain. It was sciatic type pain down the legs, completely debilitating. He sat me down and he's like, you know what, like if you just kind of take a break, relax, come see me, we'll get you better. He kind of calmed my nerves, and that really kind of drew me to chiropractic because that was an attractive thing for me because I have a bit of white coat syndrome. Whenever I go to the doctor, it's not really my vibe, but seeing this chiropractor really kind of changed my where I wanted to put my motivation for school.
Mm-hmm. And how would you describe school now? So your fourth trimester at Parker University, what's it been like? What are some surprises that you encountered or challenges you've been facing aside from what's going on this year with the distance learning? But even when you were just getting into school, what was it like? Where was your focus at? What was the energy like on campus?
Yeah, so important to note is I've only spent about 12 or 13 weeks on Parker's campus due to COVID. So my first try was the try that was cut short from COVID. So started in January of 2020, did 12 weeks on campus, and the vibe was great. I loved it. There were clubs. Um, I was kind of really into the books try one, which I would suggest for anybody is if you're gonna kind of like cut everything out of your life except for school, do it try one. Crush your first trimester. It lays such a good foundation. Um, but like I said, we've been off campus for the rest of it. So it's really been an independent kind of journey for myself. Um, but going into school, I was super excited, obviously, as you should be. Any suggestions I would give to, students that are looking to get into school is stay in contact with your financial advisor and your student advisor all the time. Be in their ear, talk to your student advisor. They'll steer you in the right direction, ask about scholarships, whatever you can do to give yourself the best chance. Try one, because I mean, you really hit the ground running. Try one, it's a lot. So
Did you take advantage of any of the scholarships that were available to you?
yes. So at Parker, they had a few different tiers of scholarships. I ended up getting one of the higher tiers just based off of GPA in undergrad. I believe it was a essay format, so submit transcripts and then write an essay and stuff like that. But as long as you're crushing in undergrad, you should be fine to
Mhm.
get a little something come grad school.
What would you say if you had an extra $1,000 from a scholarship or a couple thousand? What would you say are the best investments for a chiropractic student?
So the try one mindset is going to be, what can I get to help me in class? The try four mindset is going to be, where can I spend this money to learn off campus? There's going to be so many opportunities to learn off campus from doctors, students, alumni. Take advantage of that, because school is 100% important. It's great. We have to know that. But there's so many intangibles that you can learn from people who are in the field. So if you have an extra $1,000, well, buy a table if you don't have a table. Have to have one. Get it. Try one first week, and then look for the right seminars and go from there for sure.
Mhm. What are some details in what it's like to be a chiropractic student? What are you studying? What are you currently studying? How hard are the tests? How hard is time management? What's it like?
Yeah, I mean, time management really is the name of the game. You can be an average student, but if you can, like really manage your time and be responsible and self-motivated, you'll do fine in school. The biggest thing is that first week is so overwhelming. You're going to hear from people who are in tries ahead of you telling you, "Oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. Watch out for this test," and ignore it all, because at the end of the day, your experience is your own. After that first week, we're all overwhelmed, and one of the professors actually kind of got up, and she's great, Dr. Hollinsworth at Parker. She's fantastic, and she said, take everything you hear this first try with a grain of salt, because everybody's experience is completely different. And that was really great to settle the nerves. So I would pass that on to anybody. It's your own experience, it's your own path. So don't get caught up in what everybody's telling you. And then as far as the curriculum goes, the first 3 to 4 trimesters are basic sciences. So you're going to hammer home anything like biochemistry, pathology, obviously general anatomy. I'm getting into neuro right now. So first 3 tries, pretty much basic sciences. Try 4, you hit the transition to basic science to clinical application. And then tries 5 through 7, which I haven't been there yet, but it gets more clinical. So
Hmm. Hmm. What's some intentions you have on how you want to practice in the future? I imagine you've been in a number of different offices at this point. Can you speak
mhm.
to some of the things you've learned about through those experiences, some of the things you've experienced yourself that you didn't know about before you got to chiropractic school, and how that's shaping the path that you're taking?
Absolutely. So to kind of go back to the start of this, when I went home to school, first school to finish up my 90 credits, I ended up working as a chiropractic assistant at a local clinic. And so that's another thing I would suggest first off is, if you're still an undergrad in your hometown, wherever you're at, find a clinic, tell them you're going into chiropractic. And if they don't have a job for you, just pick their brain, be a patient, surround yourself with chiropractic. So I took a lot from how I want to practice from the clinic that I worked at. It was a 3 dot clinic. It was integrated with acupuncture and massage. And I was lucky enough that all 3 doctors went to different schools. So we had a Palmer grad, a Life grad, and then a Northwestern Health Sciences U grad.
Mhm.
So I picked their brain daily. I was dealing with patients, and still till this day, that experience is extremely instrumental in my chiropractic experience. For
Mhm.
me personally, going forward, I'm still trying to figure out how I want to run my practice. I mean, I'd be lying to you if I told you I had it all figured out. I still have 6 tries left, and dealing with patients, I think, directs a lot of how you envision how you want to run your practice. Because when you're in the books, you can kind of get lost in it, and you got to get back to the real world, and that'll help ground you in where you want to be with your practice.
Mhm. Mhm. Do you have boards on the horizon right now? Are you studying for boards?
I do. So my plan is to take part one boards in August, August of this year. So that'll be quite the experience. I'm going through the boards review book right now. So
Mhm.
yeah,
What are the boards? How many of them are there? What's this first one about?
yeah. So there are technically 5 boards, because you have a PT boards, but there's mainly 4 parts to chiropractic. NBC, I believe it is, for the chiropractic examiners, part 4 boards. So the first one is, like I said, over the 3 basic sciences. So everything you learn between try 1 and 4 will be on part 1 boards. You'll get a review book. It'll have every section. Um, I believe so. On part 1 is pathology, spinal anatomy, general anatomy, biochemistry, microbiology, and I believe I might be missing one, but it's going to cover everything you do and try 1 through 3.
Physiology, maybe? No?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Physiology will be on there. Thank you. So yeah, everything you're learning, try 1 through 3, it all comes back. It's not learn and purge. You got to keep that information in your brain, and it really does start to apply come clinical classes. I'm in a physical diagnosis class right now, and if I would have just kind of blew off physiology or skated by, I would have been in a world of hurt come phys di.
Mhm.
So
Is there anything you could recommend to pre-chiro students to prepare themselves for chiropractic science classes, like maybe a medical terminology class or
mhm.
anatomy and physiology classes? Is there anything that sticks out in your head that would have really helped you before school, had you known what you know now?
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, I would say take organic chemistry. It'll give you an incredible leg up when you hit biochemistry. Biochemistry, you'll take biochem 1 and biochem 2, and that can kind of be the stressful class the first 2 tries. If you take ochem, you're going to cruise through it. Even if you don't do, even you don't have to get an A in ochem, but have that background, and it'll really be a breeze for you. Because I know some schools don't require ochem. It's a hit or miss whether or not you need it to get into school. Take it regardless. You have to take ochem because the jump from general chemistry, which I was personally just awful at, gen chem was hard for me. Crushed ochem, and so the jump from gen chem to biochemistry, it's a big jump if you don't have that stair step of ochem in between. So definitely take organic chemistry.
It's a great recommendation. What else is important to you right now? What else are you focusing on outside of the curriculum and studying independently?
Yeah, so like I said, I came into school very much the kind of the sports chiropractic, maybe with a little bit of a PT mindset in there. But these past 2 tries, I've definitely started to delve into the philosophy of chiropractic, and that's been an ongoing process. I mean, you'll never stop studying the philosophy of chiropractic. So I'm starting that right now,
Mhm.
and it's a lot. So between the philosophy of chiropractic and getting your hands on as many people as you can, obviously not adjusting off campus, but you got to get good at palpating. And I mean, if you're not good at palpating by try 4, and when you start doing setups, you're going to be behind. So the main thing is know why you're doing chiropractic, create a human connection, and create a community around it. And maybe I'm saying that because I had no community around chiropractic. I've literally been in my room on my computer listening to lectures, and so I'm really trying to get involved in a community around me because
Mhm.
oh man, it's been hard without it. So
Mhm. What do you think it did to be a baseball player your whole life? How did that help you in this path of becoming a chiropractor, being a lifelong athlete?
yeah, that's a loaded question because I mean, so many of my life lessons I've taken from this game of baseball. But the biggest thing that I've noticed being a student athlete when it comes to chiropractic school is again time management. You're going from 5 a.m. weights to class all day to hitting to so be it, whatever sport you're playing. Come chiropractic school, that's not there. So honestly, you almost have a little bit more free time if you are strict and you stick to that schedule you followed as a student athlete in undergrad. Um, but also being a good teammate never goes away. You're gonna find clicks in each trimester, and you're gonna kind of want to gravitate to the one that you vibe with the most. But you got to be a good teammate to those people. So I mean, without a doubt, the social skills that come with sports, meeting people, also dealing with failure. I mean, there's going to be a lot of um, failure in school, not necessarily failing classes and tests, but you're not going to nail a quiz or you're going to miss an assignment. And how you handle that is very pertinent, and I think sports is a good metaphor for that.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, right on. I mean, there's a lot to be shared right now with just kind of bringing people up to what it's like to be a chiropractic student. I mean, to me, I never knew anything about being a chiropractic student before school. So everything you've shared up until now has been really helpful. I
Right.
appreciate that. Is there anything that you want to share that you're particularly passionate about right now that has got you really inspired?
I would go back to the philosophy and understanding what true chiropractic is. I mean, co- coming into school, so many people are on that PT chiropractic route and totally oblivious and no fault of their own because I had no idea myself. But really, pick up a green book. I'm doing that right now. I'm not speaking from a a high podium of philosophy. I'm just talking to like a normal student. Pick up a green book. If you vibe with it, awesome. If you don't, awesome. But get in touch with what chiropractic is at its root and at its core, and the history of chiropractic is extremely important. Like I said, it's not for everybody, but it's something to be acknowledged whether or not you vibe with it or not. So,
Mhm.
and don't box yourself in. Try one. You're gonna want to find the right club that you fit with, and you're gonna want to go all in with that club. And I actually listened to the podcast with Grant you had on a few weeks ago, and he made a really good point of saying you're gonna go to a club and you might disagree with 1% of what they say, but the other 99% you might not agree with. Or basically, it's okay to disagree with something that you hear from a club or from somebody else, but you can still learn from them. Don't shut that out. Don't get into the cancel culture within chiropractic school. Expand your mind, do what you think is best, and at the end of the day, you're going to grow from it regardless. So I think
Mhm.
that's really important.
Just in a nutshell, how would your understanding of chiropractic change now that you've been getting into the philosophy? How's it changed of what chiropractic is to you from what it was before school to what it is now?
Yeah, the philosophy of chiropractic is helping me define my why I'm getting into chiropractic. I knew when I got into school that, or even before school, I knew that one, I wanted to work with my hands, two, I wanted to work with people, and three, I wanted to help people. And that to me was my why. That's why I started in chiropractic. Um, and I would say this to any student: you're going to get into school and you're going to hear some people with some absolutely inspiring and amazing why statements, like, this is why I chose chiropractic. And for me, I always felt it was a little bit inadequate that I just wanted to help people, because there's some
Mhm.
people out there that have had some extreme life traumas that have really shaped them and helped them into chiropractic. And for me, I didn't have that. I just wanted to help people. So I felt really, I felt inadequate, like my why statement wasn't good enough. And what I would say to those students, and what I'm trying to make my own personal mantra, is it's okay to let the process of school reveal your why to you. You don't have to step foot on campus day one and be like, this is my why, this is what I'm doing, and blinders, boom. So it's okay to let the process play out, and you will find your why eventually. And
Mhm.
don't be ashamed if your why is just, hey, I want to help people. I have a passion for helping others. That's perfectly fine. That's adequate. That's valid.
Mhm.
Don't get pressured into thinking you got to have a really grandiose reason for what you're doing. It's okay to keep it simple.
Mhm. And when you look at the fact that you have another like year and a half, 2 years of school, what are you wanting to go deeper with? What are you wanting to really refine within your own abilities, your own skill set?
Absolutely. Number one is adjusting. I mean, if you can't adjust, you can't be a chiropractor. That's just how it is. We do it every single day on every single patient if it's right for them, and have to be able to use your hands. So for me, tries 4 through 7, it's all about developing clinical skills. Talking with patients, exams, histories, but most of all, adjusting, because if you can't adjust, you're going to have a hard time bringing patients in the door and getting them back in the door after your first visit. So anything that's going to improve my adjusting capabilities or my hands-on is my main focus right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's pretty good. Like you covered a wide spectrum of different topics and gave a lot of different insight of what you're going through, what you went through before school, why you went to chiropractic school. So I really
Yeah.
appreciate your time, man. Is there anything else that you want to share that you've learned with a prospective student out there that might help them uh, get clearer on why chiropractic might be something they should strongly consider?
Yeah, chiropractic is something you should always consider, because I personally believe it has the ability to change lives. It changed my life, and it's just a good holistic way to approach healing in the body. And I think right now that's a hot topic, hot button issue for a lot of people. So I would say just don't be afraid to explore it, and explore it until you find something you don't like. And if you don't like it, that's completely okay. But the process of exploring it is really important.
No doubt. Thank you so much, Wyatt, for sharing with the prospective students out there. We'll post a link to just get more in touch with you if anyone has any information that they want to get from you on where you're at in your journey now. We'll post a link to your pages and all that. So Thank you so much. Keep up the
Absolutely.
good work, and let me
Thank
know
you.
if I could support you in any way. Okay. Do you have any burning questions right now for just kind of what this project is about, or anything that's going on right now in your mind of like if you could ask because I've been in practice now for like 8, 9 years. Is there anything you're
Okay.
particularly interested in hearing about?
I would love just to hear what inspired you to start this pre-Cairo because I mean it's important. I wish I would have had this a few years ago, or been aware of it at least. It's important.
The exact reason you just mentioned. I was in school as a college athlete and I was studying massage on the side because I didn't think my exercise science degree was going to really get me a job. And when I got to the end of my bachelor's, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I just accidentally stumbled into a couple of different chiropractic offices, just checking them out. And I was like, oh, I should have known about this back in my freshman year. So I brought some of them to the freshman students, and the freshman students were eating it up. They're like, "This is exactly what we want to do," because they're kinesiology students. They want to study movement and health and well-being. And life expression is something that a lot of people are not focused enough on as a younger person. And so when I went to chiropractic school, I chose the school for the wrong reasons. And then I transferred schools. And when I got to this other school, I recognized how different the schools could be and how
Hmm.
separated the students were. So I tried to create a group that called Chiro Movement that would connect students at different chiropractic schools to the same amount of resources so everybody would have same access. So a lot of this project has been fueled by my drive to get equal access for students at all over the world and also equal representation because chiropractic's not really being represented by guidance counselors or
Right.
teachers that are really influencing these high school and college students in telling them that these are your options, physical therapy or athletic training. And it's like they're
Hmm.
not even mentioning chiropractic. I think that's something that if it shifted and there was a different narrative that we would maybe get chiropractors on college campuses taking care of students, and students regardless of what their background or career path was would know that chiropractic helped them. And then also having guidance counselors, supplying them with resources so that if someone's interested in health science or life science pathways, they could at least see that chiropractic is there. And these interviews are really just trying to shine a light on, like, depending on which school you go to, the experience could look and sound different.
Hmm.
And I just believe that right now, technology is allowing us to reach further
Yeah.
out there. There's new schools opening up every year for chiropractic. And if a new school opens in a new country, then we need pre chiropractic to really build context to create infrastructure so that students going into chiropractic school know why they're going, or maybe they don't know why they're going. Like you said, trust the process that school
Yeah.
will reveal that to you, but they at least know what chiropractic is. And there's a big vision for it because I've been thinking about it for so long. But the best ideas that you have are the ones that stay with you over an extended period of time. And I haven't let go of this vision for 10 years now. So um, I'm just bringing it forward to the world. We're having conversations with people that represent admissions departments at chiropractic schools. That's another big problem, is that the
Hmm.
only pre-chiro dialogues happening right now are coming from admissions departments that have quotas that they have to meet of how many
Right.
students they need to bring in. And so their agenda is got them a little biased, and they're indoctrinating students with their brand of chiropractic, which just further divides the profession. And so this next generation potentially having shared experiences on what it's like to go into an office and ask these different questions and experience these different types of chiropractic care will help them have more respect for each other and help us move forward as a profession just a little bit more woke to like how different we
Hmm.
are, but how similar we are too. And
Hmm.
without this sort of interconnectivity that is currently been perpetuated for the last 100 years, we have developed into a profession that makes these false assumptions and have these limiting beliefs on who the other chiropractor down the street is, and we really don't know. So
Yeah.
just like chiropractic does for people, it's about like shining a light to like look within, but also recognize that, we need more trust and we need more connection and we need more camaraderie if we're going to move forward. And, this is the most sustainable profession on the planet. We just use our
Absolutely.
hands. So,
Absolutely. Yeah. And to piggyback off that a little bit, talking about schools, for the future students out there, there's no one right school. There's no one perfect school. Every school has flaws. Every school has, some have better benefits than the other. But at the end of the day, you really have to take ownership over your own career. It, no school is going to make you into the chiropractor that you want to be. It's really going to be all on you to do that. Um,
mhm,
and that comes with the off-campus piece. That comes with the community, and touch on what you said, just building the community around chiropractic. That's so important right now,
mhm,
because I mean, I don't know how it is for students that are going to be coming in the summer or fall, but school could look very different for you if we move completely online. So whatever you can do to get plugged in is going to be extremely important for your experience.
mhm.
And the last thing I would touch on that you kind of also spoke to was the diversity within chiropractic. I had no idea. I had no idea the amount of diversity that is in chiropractic until I got to school. And thankfully, one thing I do really appreciate about Parker is they gave us an evidence-based class, my first try, and then a philosophy-based class. And to me, I was like, isn't this all one and the same? But it's not. There really is diversity within the profession, and that can be an extreme strength. It can also be an extreme weakness. But
Mhm.
yeah, the diversity is definitely something that you need to prepare yourself for as a student. Because if you go in willy-nilly, not really knowing what you want, that's okay. But be prepared for your perception of chiropractic to be challenged, and you're gonna have to, figure out where you fit in, and that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. Yeah, I'm gonna repeat that. It is a good thing, not a bad thing. So
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, so I mean, we're just going to keep trying to develop content that we can then put in front of people at the right time in their lives, right? Because it's all about being there at the right timing is so important. And um, yeah, it's a big disconnect for the profession to really just wait until people graduate chiropractic school to market, practice management or adjusting seminars or different types of seminars and education that's specialized for the chiropractor. I think we need to go and challenge young people before chiropractic school to live that life. What would it have looked like had you been on your college campus after you decided you want to be a chiropractor, offering a pre-chiro club where you explored the philosophy, you explored the sciences, and you just really represented yourself and chiropractic on that campus to the guidance counselors, to the teachers, and you built the infrastructure, you left the legacy, and you can look back on your college years and say, hey, besides being a college athlete, I also established this amazing thing that is supporting students to this day. So that's kind of what I believe the
absolutely,
potential is, if students can really wrap their head around, hey, I have 4 years of undergrad to really study pre-chiropractic and actually
Mhm.
creating a field of study for pre-chiropractic, because self-care and self-exploration for who you are and what life experiences you had up until college, how those really matter, and how you should leverage those in what you're working on now, what your gifts and strengths are, and moving forward, what best aligns with those gifts and strengths. I think if we can get people living, from that place, then regardless of whether they go to chiropractic school or not, they're going to be
Be better
more
off.
happy
Yeah,
with that choice.
definitely. I totally agree. Totally agree.
So yeah, so what would you say a pre-Chiro student should study or explore for themselves, if you were just getting creative about it, like
Yeah. That's I would say pick up a green book. Yeah, pick up a green book. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It might be a little bit heady for you, but that's okay. Work to understand it. I'm
you
a
have a
year and a half
specific
in.
green book that you would recommend, or that you're currently reading that you're really enjoying?
Yeah, so I haven't actually read one myself. I'm in the process of it. I'm just picking up the chiropractic textbook right now. But a green book that's been on my mind for a long time is The Glory of Going On. Um, I'm really intrigued by that title. I really want to understand what's in that book and how that can help me be a better chiropractor.
Mhm.
I don't think there's any wrong green book. Whatever one you're drawn to is one you should pick up. I think that's the right answer.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Fame and Fortune. I read that one a couple times. I really enjoy that one. I'm a big fan of Volume 1, The Science of Chiropractic. And then I believe volume two, which is The Science, Art, and Philosophy of Chiropractic by Didi.
Yeah.
To me, those are some of the ones that I've enjoyed, but also The Bigness of the Fellow Within and the Subluxation Specific, volume 18 is, these are really thick books, but you can open up to any page in them and just tap into the consciousness that people had back in 1918 and how relevant it is to today that we continue to represent uh, just a different message, a different vibration than that which is dominating the radio waves, the television screens these days. So
Yeah.
um, chiropractic continues to be needed just as much now as it was needed 100 years ago, and it's amazing that the narrative psychology of society, the cultural hypnosis that people are in our society to go to the drugstore and watch the TV to learn what they should do to take care of themselves. It's
Yeah.
it's unbelievable that that still is the dominant force. And chiropractic is really not that at all. It's really about asking yourself the question, what is chiropractic not? And then pointing at a lot of the different things that are going on in society right now and saying that this is actually the right time to be a chiropractor because this is our opportunity to really step up and differentiate. you know are we going to
Yeah.
play into people's are we going to need to be liked by everybody else, or are we going to represent who we are and what we're about authentically? So it's definitely a beautiful time to be a chiropractor. My practice is busier than it's ever been,
It's
and
awesome.
the need is stronger than ever. So if you're a student out
Absolutely.
there considering this path, we're here for you. We want to support you. Thank you, Wyatt, and yeah, let's just keep building together, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Most definitely.